This is Channel 5 News. In the headlines, debate on Elections Amendment Bill postponed as the Prime Minister asks for Parliament to be adjourned. Tourism Director suggests development of Fort Shirley to host entertainment events, and the Dominica makes first shipment of dashing to the United States. I am Kenny Williams with the Channel 5 News. I'll be back with the details after this. Welcome back. First up, a series of protests against proposed amendments to the House of Assembly Elections Act has caused the country's Prime Minister to decide to have the second reading of the bill postponed.
Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit addressed the nation on Thursday afternoon to express concern over what he described as uncontrolled mob-like behavior by political party activists doing the bidding of their leaders. He made reference to Monday's protests in Salisbury and the other outside Parliament on Tuesday, saying this was a dangerous precedent foreign to the political and cultural landscape of Dominica. Concerned that these actions could lead to dire consequences, Mr. Skerrit says he has responded by advising the Speaker of the House to have Friday's sitting of Parliament adjourned when the House of Assembly meets as planned on Friday.
I will not expose members of Parliament, staff of the Parliament, the media, visitors and other interest groups to threats of physical danger by mob-like rioters acting at the behest of the leader. Dominica has too painstakingly built its image and reputation for peace, civility, and tranquility for me to join with others in sullying that good name. Accordingly, I have today advised the Honourable Speaker of the House that Parliament should reconvene as agreed tomorrow morning, but adjourned without further consideration of matters of the other paper. This is the best way, I believe, for us to avoid obvious confrontation that others are seeking. Failure to pass this and other laws in a timely fashion is not too high a price to pay for minimizing the threat to life, limb, and property in Dominica.
Mr. Skerrit has made it clear that his government is not intimidated by the ongoing threats of violence.
Let it be very clear to everybody. Equally, however, we are not disposed to exposing innocent Dominicans, and indeed members of the same potentially riotous mobs, to potential harm and danger. When the threat of danger to humans and damage to property has been contained or stamped out, the sitting shall resume. The suspension of the sitting of Parliament tomorrow, due to persistent threats of violence and lawlessness by supporters of the parliamentary opposition, should provide the said members with adequate time to fully set forth their position on this matter, so it can be taken into consideration and acted upon by the government.
The Prime Minister said his government is still eager to hear the opposition's specific concerns about the provisions of the draft legislation. He has announced the willingness to take the proposed amendments to the relevant stakeholders for further discussion.
The government of Dominica shall approach this debate with an open mind, and any and all legitimate areas of concern and or objection voiced by opposition will be analyzed in an open and objective manner, with a view to arriving at consensus, however and wherever possible. In the meantime, the government will continue its ongoing practice of sensitizing the nation to the aims and objectives of measures before the Parliament. And in the case of the draft amendments to the Elections Act, the government shall use the available time to continue to discuss its provisions with the various stakeholders in the hope of arriving at a final product that meets the approval of all objective, rational, and reasonable thinkers in the country.
In other news, government has reaffirmed its commitment to tackling youth unemployment in Dominica. Minister for Youth Justina Charles told the graduation ceremony of the Youth Skills Training Program that government is dedicated to creating employment opportunities for youth through providing skill sets they can benefit from.
The ultimate goal is to address the challenge of youth unemployment in Dominica. As in many other countries, youth unemployment represents a major challenge to government. The skills training program, therefore, remains a major pillar in this government's thrust to eradicate youth unemployment in Dominica. Young people, you have been exposed to learning a skill that will enable you to fit into the world of work. Government will continue to create an enabling environment for you to put to practice the training you have received.
The minister reminded the graduates that for 2017, a significant sum of money had already been spent on skills development for the country's youth.
For this year only, can you imagine? Just in skills development, just for skills development, government has already spent close to $500,000. That is $493,000 and some more on just this training program. 69% of that goes to salaries for technical and other related skills instructors. Ladies and gentlemen, while your academic achievement is important, of equal importance is acquiring skills that will make you more marketable.
Over 200 individuals graduated from skills programs in computer literacy, landscaping, boat making, sewing, computer maintenance, fish pot making, construction, hairstyling, and woodwork. We continue with this item where Tourism Director Colin Piper says the main stage Jazz and Creole Festival means too much to the Portsmouth community to relocate it from Fort Shirley. Piper was responding to a question about suggestions that consideration may have been given to moving the event from Cabrit's as it continues to grow.
It would not be my intention to move the festival from Fort Shirley. I would look for any and all avenues to improve Fort Shirley so that the event can continue there. I think we owe it to the people of Portsmouth. I think it provides a wonderful opportunity for Dominicans to take a long weekend and, you know, kind of go to the area. It provides great business for the people of Portsmouth, both from a hospitality perspective.
Piper says the discussion on the way forward for space at the event should be about developing the park.
If we can assist in helping to develop Fort Shirley so that it improves and can host more of these such events, provided that forestry gives it the go-ahead, then we would want to do so. We've done a lot of work in terms of the venue preparation to cater for probably about 10% more people. So patrons will see they'll see some changes in terms of where the bars are located and where the food is located. And based on how things go this year, that will indicate what we do with Fort Shirley next year in terms of catering for even larger crowd size.
The main stage of the 8th Jazz and Creole is carded for Pentecost Sunday on June 4. It will feature Courtney Pine, Michael Henderson, Breve, T-Orchestre, and other acts. The first Fringe event takes place this Sunday at the Evergreen Hotel and will run throughout the week until June 3. Member of Parliament for the Salisbury Constituency, Hector John, has called for government to focus on addressing some burning issues in his constituency. John told Parliament on Wednesday afternoon one of those issues includes addressing the plight of residents of Kulibistri affected by the 2015 tropical storm Erica.
We are seeing money spending, as I said. But I just want to ask a question, Madam Speaker, in this House. To members of this House. Do you know a village called Kulibistri? Do you know what happened to Kulibistri on the 27th of August 2015? Are you aware of the promises made to the people of Kulibistri after Tropical Storm Erica? Are you aware of the small businesses that got affected in Kulibistri after Tropical Storm Erica? We are approaching 2 years now. And what have we done for the people of Kulibistri? Have you gone back to the people of Kulibistri and meet with them and discuss with them?
John says there is need for a river defense wall in that community.
A young lady from Kulibistri raised a question in Monrachet during the town hall and asked about the river wall because it is a threat to lives and properties. We are approaching the hurricane season, no one answered that question. We are seeing dredging of rivers after Tropical Storm Erica, and nothing has been done to Kulibistri. I am not saying that the other places do not need it, but at least throw an eye on the people of Kulibistri. They are small businesses. But a young man, his survival was a bakery, and the river took everything and it went. And nobody went back to him.
On the issue of late garbage collection in Salisbury, John said contact has been made with the Dominica Solid Waste Management Corporation and he is aware of the challenges facing the institution.
You have about 30-something shops. You have the health center, credit union, everything else. That's the commercial space of the village. And on that road, that's where you have all the garbage. Madam Speaker, some shopkeepers can't even open their place of business because of the flies, the rats, and everything. I heard the Minister of Tourism speaking earlier on. We have to keep our country clean. We do our best, Madam Speaker. That is the only way we can get it out. If we get it out, it's bring back on the highway. If as I heard a suggestion made by my colleague, Mr. Basil, he made a suggestion. If you make a truck available to us, we can maybe see how we can help the situation. It's a serious situation.
You are watching Channel 5 News. We'll have much more when we return. Thanks for staying with us. The Integrity Commission expects whistleblower legislation to be the norm in Dominica as the world seeks greater transparency in governance. A whistleblower is defined as a person who exposes any kind of information or activity that is deemed illegal, unethical, or not correct within an organization that is either private or public. Whistleblowing legislation is viewed as part of promoting integrity within organizations.
I suppose eventually we will get there because this is transparency legislation and it is taking the world over, and what certain countries do, what is best practice eventually becomes practice that has to be developed by slower countries or less developed countries. Eventually we will get there. I suppose the necessary amendments would have to be done to legislation to get that done.
Chairman of the Integrity Commission, Dermot Softwell, believes there is a lack of whistleblower legislation. However, he says there are institutions that have invested in avenues for whistleblowing.
There is a lack, yes, there is a lack of legislation, but whistleblowing, you hear the thing on the radio all the time about Crime Stoppers. And I know at the National Bank, we have a whole whistleblowing system in operation. So we may not have legislation per se, but financial institutions do have a system to monitor the question of accountability for monies coming into your account or money coming into the island by means which are bordering on corruption. Because the National Bank has a whole big thing on whistleblowing.
Next up, Dominica's Agriculture Minister is reporting a milestone achievement in the sector with the first ever trial shipment of dasheen to the United States. Honorable Johnson Drago, while addressing Parliament on Wednesday, said this took place earlier that day.
Today, Madam Speaker, just today, we sent out our first trial shipment of a container of dasheen to the United States of 22,000 pounds, Madam Speaker. This is what we are doing to move the agricultural sector forward. And as we speak, the synergies between agriculture and trade is improving. and they're going around the island, meeting the farmers, encouraging them to go into their farm, take advantage of the opportunity, government planning to support them and so on. And the farmers are responding, Madam Speaker. The farmers are not listening to the programs on radio which is saying agriculture is dead. The farmers are responding to the support given to them by their government.
Drago says there is a growing demand for more agricultural produce for export, and the government continues to invest in the sector.
Over $140 million has already gone into the sector, soft loan to the farmers, into production, Madam Speaker, into production. And we're doing everything to help them in export. The pack houses are swinging. People are just calling the pack house asking for fresh produce. Mr. Douglas, some of them have to call all around asking because we want more, because the farmers, they've come to realize that there is money to be made. They will not be distracted by the opposition, and they are trying their best. If the opposition wants to make money as a party, I can make it too. Yes, so therefore, they are involved in the sector. They are deeply involved in the sector, and we are giving them the kind of support that they need to move forward.
And a growing trend among the nation's youth has caused the Youth Development Division to take steps to help that generation reap financial reward from their creative vision. Acting Chief Youth Development Officer Gregory Rivera told Wednesday's Youth Skills graduation ceremony that a new facility to keep in line with the mounting interest of youth is almost complete.
The Youth Division also recognized an emerging trend where more and more youth are showing strong interest in music and videography. In this regard, a modern state-of-the-art multimedia center and recording studio is 90% complete at the Maragot Youth Center. Youth will have full access to this facility, in which will of course be managed by the Maragot Youth Center Club. They will be able to record their music, record their videos, and have them available on the World Wide Web instantaneously.
In addition to the state-of-the-art music studio, there is another program set to come on stream soon, which will add a new dimension to what is offered by those trained under the Youth Development Division.
Another major project on stream, ladies and gentlemen, is the establishment of the Southern Enterprise Center. This is a collaborative effort among the Ministry of Trade, Energy and Employment, the Ministry of Commerce, Enterprise and Small Business Development, and the Youth Development Division. This year, we have moved one step closer to ensure that the Southern Enterprise Center in Grand Bay will become a reality. It will not be long till you will witness the full operation of the said facility.
Rivera pointed out that despite the growing positive influence of the division on young people, there are still areas of grave concern which needed to be addressed, namely secure internet and telephone connections, a full-time counselor for troubled youth, funding, and a full complement of staff to execute the division's mandate. That's news. Your sports highlights next. Members of the West Indies women's team heading to the ICC Women's World Cup in the United Kingdom will assemble for a brief camp starting on Friday in Barbados. Head coach Vasbert Drakes said the focus of the camp will primarily be team bonding, as the side has not been together since last November in India. On arrival in the UK, the team will have a 17-day training camp in Southampton, including practice matches against an England Women's 11 on June 6 at Loughborough and the Southern Vipers on June 9 at the Aegis Bowl, before moving to the city of Leicester for the formal start of the Women's World Cup program. The West Indies women were runners-up at the previous Women's World Cup in India, when Australia women claimed their 6th title with a 114-run victory in Mumbai. Stephanie Taylor's side earned automatic qualification to the Women's World Cup following their 4th-place finish in the ICC Women's Championship, a tournament contested between the top 8 sides in the world over the last 2 years. The squad reads Stephanie Taylor, captain, Marissa Aguilera, Renice Boyce, Shamilia Cornell, Chanel Daly, Deandra Dottin, Afi Fletcher, Kiana Joseph, Kishonna Knight, Haley Matthews, Anissa Mohammed, Shadeen Nation, Akira Peters, Shakira Silman, and Felicia Walters. In basketball, there were wins for the Pierre Charles and Portsmouth Secondary Schools in the sports division's Under-15 championships on Wednesday. In the PCSS versus Dominica Grammar School encounter, PCSS won 64-23 over DGS. Top scorers for PCSS were Yewani Regis with 33 points, Minnie Link 12, Onisha Henderson 8. In a losing effort, Alec Kazemi added 15 points for DGS. In another match, Portsmouth Secondary beat Northeast Comprehensive 52-40. Troy Brooks netted 18 points for PSS, while Brian Barry got 16 for NECS. Meantime, in the 2017 Flow DABA League, Paybush Snipers won by default over 767 Sports Club since 767 failed to show up for their match. The league continues on Friday with the Sports Division Inter-Schools against Detroit Blazers 2 at 7 p.m. in the First Division, followed by Detroits and Flow X-Men in the Premier League at 9 p.m. Both matches are carded for the Massac Court. Moving on to football, head of 767 Sports Entertainment, Dunstan Peters, says an upcoming football match in June could be the catalyst for improvements to the sport here. Legends of the Game is an event which features previous football stars who made meaningful contribution to the sport here.
You can expect to get a real nostalgic feeling, of yesteryear, because all the great former national players are going to be there, and Soloka, Coco Show, Rabo, all those guys, Peter Greenaway. All those guys are going to be there, and it's going to be they're going to be back on their stomping ground, the Windsor Park, where they used to do the thing, you know what I mean? So it's going to be, we're going to bring back the old spirit, try to raise back the spirit of football again, because it's really kind of dormant and dead right now. You come in at a game and there's nobody looking at the game. And back then, people all on the roof, all on the wall, all on the mountains, all the hills they can find, you know what I mean? So we need to feel and bring back that vibe, and who else to bring that vibe back than the old guys, that used to do it,
Peters says this opportunity is crucial for the youngsters in the sport here.
There's been a generation gap where the youngsters never saw the coaches in action, so they don't know what it is, what it is these guys have done, you know what I mean? So now they're going to get a chance to see, get a glimpse, get a little flash of that greatness, and then they're going to look at them in a different light, you know what I mean? Because what I've noticed is that marketing and promotions, we need to have a wall of fame for these guys, where we could, walk into the football house and see a shrine. You could see photos of those guys, The
event begins at 4 in the afternoon with an under-15 match, followed by a game featuring the veterans.
There's going to be an under-15 game at 4, which will feature the national under-15 program. They have about 40 kids, so they're going to split that in 2 and play nice games. So they'll display the future of Dominica will be on display, and then after that, they're past, The Masters will take the field at about 6 o'clock. It's only $5 for anybody over 15, and all kids under 15 free, because we want the park to be filled with kids, because we want them to witness this. We're going to split it into 2 teams. There's a lot of guys, so we're going to get the South Legends, which is the teams from South, players from the teams from South, like Harlem, JD Rocks, Point Michelle, these teams, Baba State. We're going to have all the former players from these teams together against teams from Central and North, like Kensborough, Blue Stars, Dame Central, Zebians, Saints, St. Joe and stuff like that,
Sports continues with volleyball, where the sports division will stage its 4th annual Secondary Schools Under-15 Beach Volleyball Festival at the Mero Beach on Friday. The schools participating in this year's festival are the Castle Bruce, Portsmouth and Isaiah Thomas Secondary Schools, along with Wesley High School and Northeast Comprehensive and Dominica Grammar School. The competition will be in the male and female categories. Castle Bruce Secondary placed 1st and Northeast Comprehensive 2nd in both categories in the 2016 Under-15 Beach Volleyball Festival. Moving on to track and field, local track and field athletes will get a chance to improve on their skills when the Dominica Amateur Athletics Association hosts the annual National Championships on Sunday. Public Relations Officer for the DAAA encourages locals to come out and lend their support.
The Dominica Amateur Athletic Association would like to inform all affiliates and the general public that on Sunday, May 28th, the association will be hosting its annual national championship at the Windsor Park Sports Stadium from 9:30 a.m. At the championship, there will be 2 age categories, which is the under 18 boys and girls and the 18 plus men and women. The general public is urged to come out and support these young athletes as well as our top senior athletes as they vie for the title of national champion at this meet.
That's all the sporting highlights for now. Join us next time. Stay tuned for the latest weather update.
Good evening, Dominica, and welcome to tonight's weather broadcast. I'm your presenter, Marshall Alexander. We begin by taking a look at earlier infrared satellite imagery, what it showed. This area of convection associated with an increase in moisture levels mainly across the Leeward Islands. And also off to the east, this area of convection associated with a westward moving tropical wave expected to move across the area by Sunday. Now, taking a look at earlier visible satellite imagery, what it showed. Some high-level clouds across Dominica during today, with some multi-layered clouds observed across the Leeward Islands. Now, taking a look at earlier radar imagery, what it indicated. Scattered showers mainly across the Leeward Islands today, with some spotty showers off to the east and south of Dominica. Now, tonight's weather is expected to be fair to partly cloudy, with a few brief isolated showers, and these conditions are expected to continue into tomorrow. Sea conditions are expected to be moderate in open water, with waves peaking near 7 feet. Looking ahead to the next 3 days, an increase in cloudiness and scattered showers can be expected beginning by Saturday afternoon and moving into Sunday due to the approach of a westward moving tropical wave. For the rest of the Caribbean tomorrow, fair to partly cloudy skies with a few brief scattered showers can be expected across the central and southern portion of the region, with an increase in cloudiness and scattered showers expected across the extreme north. Our international cities forecast: some rain expected in New York, showers and thunderstorm activity expected in Miami, and fair to partly cloudy skies expected in London, Caracas, and Beijing. Sunrise tomorrow will be at 5:34 a.m. and sunset will be at 6:41 p.m. For more information, you can call the weather hotline at 447-5555 or visit our website at weather.gov.dm. Thanks for viewing. Have a good night.
To end the news, the headlines again. Debate on elections amendment bill postponed as the Prime Minister asks for Parliament to be adjourned. Tourism Director suggests development for Fort Shirley to host entertainment events, and Dominica makes first shipment of dasheen to the United States. Feel free to contact us at news@marvin2k4.com. You can also access our past newscasts on our YouTube channel. On behalf of the entire production team, I am Kenny Williams, and to all our viewers around the world, we thank you for watching. Join us next time.